Okay, so this is about HVAC, so heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So what I try to do here is to explain to you how such a building function is created with ETS5. So, and I will do that not with physical devices and some camera that I then and then show the results to you. So that is not what I will do. I will just use a software. So I will use KNX Virtual as described in the webinar description, so to say, when you actually subscribe to this webinar. So that's basically it. If you're into that, then just I would say stay here, and then I'll guide you through that. So first of all, we will need ETS also, of course. So as you can see on the screen, it's already here. And then there is this software. By the way, in case you didn't try it yourself yet, this software can easily be found in your My KNX account via the shop. So you just go there, click shop, then go through software, and then I think it's on the very last page, if I'm not mistaken. No, then it's okay, it's right here. So this is the software. You can order this for, so you need to order it, but of course it's free of charge. So you don't need to pay anything for this. And once you have downloaded that, you then just need to unzip the file. It's only one file, and here it is. So that's an executable. You just need to double click it, go through settings, just accept the default settings. These are fine. And then you are good to go with this software. But of course, before I'm going to use this software, I'll need to create an ETS project first. So in that ETS project, I will then indeed create this HVAC function. So I just create a project, new project. I call it maybe HVAC. Oh, like this. I keep the default settings fine. And then what I'll need to do is to add some devices to this project. I prefer to use topology view, but it could be any view that you like, of course, to have the same results. But as I said, my preference is topology. Most of the people actually use building view, but again, it's a preference. So via the catalog, I'm going to then add 4 devices to the project. Which 4 devices, you might wonder? Well, let's have a look under view HVAC, because that's the function I will realize, and then you know what kind of devices that we need. So we need an RTC, a room temperature controller, a weather module, an Hvac Activator, and binary outputs. So what are these devices doing? Well, actually, it is actually so in centrally put, if I can say it like that, is the RTC. So that's the actual device that how to say evaluates the temperature in the room, takes into account outside temperature, which has a certain set point, which has a certain Hvac mode, like comfort mode or standby mode, and according to that, and according to that constellation, it will react accordingly. It will, if the temperature in the room is too low, so below the set point, then it will try to add heat to the room, and it will do that via the bus, of course, sending a command to the so-called Hvac Activator, and then open a valve in order to heat that, in order to add that heat. Sorry. The other way around, if it's too warm in the room, so the temperature in the room is above the set point, then it will send a command on the bus in order to withdraw heat from that room. So another valve will be opened in order to cool it down. The weather module is just here actually to get the outside temperature into the RTC. So I will do that via this way. So this is of course also a virtualization of a real weather module, of course. And then there is also the binary input for which I will I will use one of the channels, channel 1 here, in order to simulate or virtualize, so to say, the so-called window contact. Because indeed the RTC will also take that into account if ever a window would be opened in the room, then the device is aware of that. So that means, you can save energy by that, because indeed it's pretty pointless to heat up a room while a window is open, or cool it down while a window is open. It's the same thing, of course. But on the other hand, the building as such, so the heating installation, if you want, on the other hand, also needs to be protected. So that means if it would freeze outside and the window is open, then nevertheless heat needs to be added to that room in order to avoid damage being caused because of water being frozen. So that's the frost protection actually, or the building protection that will be activated because of that window contact, right? Okay, so that is actually a bit in a summary. Just one more detail maybe from the Hvac Activator. That's an 8-volt activator, and only channel 1 of that Hvac Activator is actually active in this room here, in this simulated or virtualized room, if you want. So only channel 1. In a future version of KNX Virtual, it probably will be that I will add more rooms, so that room 2 and 3 and 4 and so on can be created, and then each room has another, let's say, is linked to another channel of the same Hvac activator. But again, in this version, in this very webinar here, I will only use channel 1 of this Hvac activator. This is also described, by the way, on this website here. I just opened the website for you, support.knx.org. And here you can also find under general information, KNX Virtual. And the description, more or less things that I just have been explaining to you. So what is KNX Virtual, what is the concept, and the device descriptions. So also there you can find that information, and that will certainly help you if you also would like to play with KNX Virtual yourself. Okay, I think that's really enough for the introduction. I'll just now start with the actual work that we have to do. First of all, as I said, I want to add those 4 devices to this line so that this properly works. Therefore, I need to select in the online catalog of ETS, or the catalog of ETS actually, I need to select KNX Association. And I just need to wait a little bit, and then the catalog will show me the products of this manufacturer that are available currently in the server. Well, basically, to keep things simple, I'll suggest that you just have a look at the you could check via order numbers, etc., but the application is also pretty clear. So what do we need here? Well, we need the binary input control. So I'll just add that. That's done. I don't have blinds, I don't have dimming, but I have Hvac control. I don't have clicks, I don't have logic, I don't have movement present, I don't have, yes, this I have, RTC, yes, of course. Oh, not twice, sorry, that was a mistake. Okay, and what else? Yeah, the weather module, of course. So here it is. All fine. So we have all 4 devices now here. And the first task, or the first thing that I will do, I will show you the effect of controlling, or just, let's say, only controlling the Hvac control device. By doing that first, I can explain you how all of this actually works. So let me start there first. So as I said, in order to influence the temperature in this room, I'll need to open either a heating valve or a cooling valve of the HVAC activator, and then again, don't forget specifically channel 1. So let's have a look what is in channel 1 right now. Nothing. So that seems that there are indeed objects missing here, communication objects. So that means I need to add them. Well, how do you add them? Well, you can always do that via the parameters of the device. So here I just add the, how to say, I'm going to influence or change the function of channel 1 of the HVAC activator. And I can do that by choosing only heating, only cooling, or heating and cooling. So I'll need both here. So I select both. And then the objects should be there for channel 1. Channel 1 proportional cooling valve, and also so number 2 here, channel 1 proportional heating valve. So let's start there. I'm going to link them to a group address. Actually, what I should do, I should actually link the channel 1. So I can maybe already close the catalog. I don't need that anymore. So in order to really control the temperature in the room, I need to link the room temperature controller with the HVAC activator, actually. Well, there are indeed, in the room temperature control, there are indeed specific objects in order to do that, of course. So, well, obviously, if I just select the 2 devices like that, then you can see clearly what should be connected to what. So, obviously, the proportional cooling valve should actually be linked to the drive cooling valve. So that means this drive cooling valve from the room temperature controller is actually the object. This specific object is actually the object that will send telegrams to the bus whenever heat needs to be taken away, withdrawn from the room. This object here, so the drive heating valve, is that object that will send commands to the bus whenever heat needs to be added to the room. So then you know what should be linked together, of course. So that means the proportional cooling valve of the HVAC activator with this here, the cooling valve. You just right-click, link with. There are no group addresses yet, so I'll just create one. Number 1, and then these are actually linked, and then the same for heating. So it's really that easy. Okay. Now this is only the configuration in ETS, but of course, in order to have it operational, we need to program or to commission, better said, the devices now. So I'll start with the HVAC activator. And I need to do a full download. Why a full download? Because the individual address is also still to be set. This is the first time that I will commission the device, and therefore a full download is required. Afterwards, if I make modifications, then a partial download is sufficient. But again, it's the first time, so I need to do the full download. So I'll select the full download, and ETS actually asks me to press the programming button. Then, okay, this is something particular in KNX in general, actually, and also in KNX Virtual. It is that it could be that here in the physical world, if I can put it like that, you need to find that that programming button. It could be that you need to go in another room where the actual device is. cabinet or whatever. And that is also what actually happens here. We need to go to another place, so to say, and that place I put actually under another view, simply the devices view. And then you can find a device here that needs to be programmed. So in this case, it's the Hvac Activator, and that is this device here. So the HAB01, that's the order number. That's how you can find it back. So here's the programming button, and I just need to click that. You will see that this simulates actually the programming LED, which is now already switched off. And by now, actually, indeed, the device is actually already programmed. All right, then we can see a first effect if we play with that. So I just go back to the Hvac overview. Because we could already test a few things, I could show you already a few things, because this has already a certain effect, at least when you trigger it. So I will do that via the diagnostics, or not, is actually not even required, but it actually shows you what happens on the bus. So I'll start the monitor, and what I'll do is, so in this situation, what I could do is I could just open the heating valve. So you can see that the room temperature now is 21 degrees Celsius. If I just open the heating valve manually, so just via ETS here, then yeah, the temperature in the room will increase. You will see that. So I'll just write a specific telegram. So I will open it, well, completely open, so 100%. And then just click OK. And then you can see immediately that, yeah, in the simulation that because of the red color, heat is added to the room, and you can see that the room temperature is indeed increasing. So 23 degrees, 24, and it will go to 25, but not higher, because this is also what I have simulated. It will not. It only has a specific capacity. It cannot make the temperature in the room go higher than this. Now, this is of course a simulation. This is only how to say, yeah, a representation of the reality. So it's just to practice. It's actually just to exercise or to learn actually. So it's not maybe not 100% according to the physical world, but it's close enough in order to understand the principles behind it. Well, as you can see, it's constantly now flipping, so to say, between 24 and 25 Celsius degree. So this is the effect. This is the effect when you open the heating valve in this very room. So that's, I think, clear. Now, what happens if I would open now the cooling valve at the same time? So we see the heating valve being opened. Now, see what happens if I also open the cooling valve. See how the devices react here. So I also open it for 100%. Then you'll see that the Hvac Activator will not accept this command. In that sense, it will just stop any action, because, of course, you cannot add heat and withdraw the heat at the same time. So that's why the device has stopped working. But nevertheless, if we want to cool down the room, so you saw that the room temperature now has already decreased just because of the fact that the outside temperature is 21 degrees. So it just drops until that temperature. And so that's just, yeah, simulation of yeah, nature, so to say. But you can further cool it down by opening the cooling valve. So I'll open it again, but of course the first time it had no effect because the heating valve was still open. Now the heating valve is not open anymore, and now indeed we will see that there is an effect. So the room temperature will decrease because blue simulates here, yeah, heat being taken away, withdrawn from the room, and therefore the room temperature will indeed decrease till, I think, 19 degrees. but not lower. This is also again the simulation of the limited capacity of this HVAC actuator, or of the heating system, actually, the heat exchanger. So 19 degrees, 20 degrees all the time. Again, if I want to increase the temperature again, or stop the cooling, so to say, I have to again write a command, so manually, and then the temperature will go back to 22, to 21, better said. If I want 22, I need to write the command again manually. Could also be just 50%. It will be a bit slower, but I will reach 22%, and so on and so on. So of course, the point being is that yes, you could arrange the temperature in this way manually, but of course that is not the point. We want to have this automated. So therefore, what we need to do is to get involved, of course, also the other device, the room temperature controller. I'll just stop the monitor for now. A bit more space in ETS to maybe also further discuss the other objects of the room temperature controller. So there's the first object is the Hvac mode, which is also controllable via this button. The Setpoint is also an object. Via this object, you could send the Setpoint via the bus, so via commands. Could be example given, linked to your smartphone or your tablet, and that then sends actually set points to the bus, and that will then reach the RTC here. The current value is actually an object that just gives us information about the current temperature in the room. So there's actually this temperature here, this within this rectangle. The drive cooling valve, the drive heating valve, or valves, I just explained. And then there is the window contact. And that is indeed also something that, I already explained it to you. The window contact makes sure that the building can be protected against damage because of frost. Of frozen water, so to say. And also it saves, of course, energy, because no point in heating or cooling in a room where a window is open. Outside temperature, well, yeah, obviously that's the outside temperature, which also the RTC takes into account in order to have a temperature control, automated temperature control. Maybe I'll start with that object first. So what I need to have is the outside temperature in the RTC. Maybe that is a good way to start, or to continue, better said. So I'll just use the wait a moment. I'll just use the temperature object of the weather module, and I will link it to the outside temperature object of the room temperature controller. So I could also do that with a drag and drop, just like that. And ETS automatically suggests 0.3. Yes, fine. And therefore, I need to program the devices then, because that's the commission them. So also full download for the room temperature controller, because I didn't program it. I didn't program it yet so far. I only programmed the Hvac actuator. So also here, for the first time, I need a full download. Full download, fine. ATS will request me again to press the programming button, and I think you know by now what that means. I have to find the device under the devices, view, room temperature controller. Well, it's here. I just program the device. And then ETS is finished. I also do the next one, the weather module, full download. So again, programming button, weather module, it's this here, this device. And I just wait for ETS to finish this. Okay, and I go back to the HVAC view. I already see some action here. Okay, so that means if I have a look here at the outside temperature, which is now set to 21 degrees Celsius, if I change that to 27 example, we can see that indeed this is now also taken over by the room temperature control. So that's fine. We see immediately action because because of the outside temperature, the temperature in the room tends to, because of nature, because of laws in nature, you know, it will temperature will of course tend to increase automatically. And what the RTC will try to do is to keep the temperature according to the set point. Yeah? So 22 degrees, of course. But again, from the moment the RTC doesn't send commands, stops actually or closes the cooling valve or cooling valves, then of course the room temperature will just increase again. And then again, when the temperature is above the set point, then of course the RTC will then open again the heating, the cooling valve, and so on and so on and so on. In this case, there is also, I could also illustrate the HVAC mode, which is now set to comfort. You can see that here in the user interface. If I change it to standby mode, then you can see that the set point is actually different. It's higher. That standby means I'm actually not in the room, so it doesn't need to be really comfortable because I'm not there anyway, and therefore we see that indeed the room temperature will increase until the set point 26, but it will go to 27 because of lows in nature, of course, but also here the RTC will prevent that, so it will cool it down. And from the moment I'm back in the office or in the room or whatever it is, I can change the HVAC mode again by clicking this button, and it will go, and I will demand 22 again, and we will see that indeed this will open the valve even to the full 100% actually, to have it to have the result quicker. Within the set point, there's also the possibility to change that. Maybe one day I feel like that 21 is more comfortable to me, then the temperature will be set to 21. So just wait until it's 21, and then the cooling valve will stop again. Or maybe when my wife is in the room, then she likes better 23. So yeah, it's basically all the same. So here, only when it's 24, heat will be, the cooling valve will be opened again. Okay, now the opposite. So let's say that all of a sudden the temperature outside is extremely low, or well, extremely low is just, let's say that we simulate freezing. So we don't have negative temperatures here. So I just limited it to 0. And this gives us another situation, because here the room temperature, of course, tends to decrease again because of laws in nature. So therefore, the room temperature will go to, in this case, 22 degrees. But the room temperature, the RTC will then, because of that fact, because of the fact that the room temperature is lower than the set point, it will of course open the heating valves just to increase the temperature again until it reaches the set point temperature. So it's the same principle, of course, but just adding heat is now required to have the same effect, to have that set point temperature. Also here there is a standby mode. That means that when I'm not in the room, then 18 degrees is actually also already fine. So by nature again, the room temperature, because of nature, the room temperature will drop until indeed 18 and even 17. And that is then, of course, the trigger for the RTC to open the heating valve again until it reaches 18 again, and so on and so on. All right. Now, last step is to get the window contact involved here. So because right now, if I would zero means, so in this case, in zero means that the window is actually closed, and if I would send a 1 to the bus, right, then it means the window contact is open, and this will have an effect on the working of the RTC that I will illustrate right after, because now this specific part of the function is not realized yet. So therefore I need to continue in ETS with the job. That means the binary input module needs to be linked with the RTC. So here we have the window contact, and this is the binary input normal open and the enable disable binary input. So I will use channel 1. So actually only this here, and the room temperature controller. Okay, I cannot, no, I have to select the entire bunch of objects. Okay, fine, no problem. So I just basically need to link the binary input from channel 1. I could also take channel 3, by the way, it doesn't matter. Maybe as an example, I take indeed channel 3 and then link it to the window contact. Number 4, yes, fine. And then we can see that there's indeed a link between the binary input channel 3 of the binary input module and the window contact of the RTC. And you know the drill by now, so downloading or commissioning the devices. So a full download for the binary input. Select the device under devices, binary input, that is here, this device. Okay, I'll just wait until ETS is finished. So indeed, we have now this properly working. So the channel 3 actually simulates or actually sensed by opening the window a 1 to the bus, which puts the RTC in protection mode. And if I close the window again, it just put back to comfort mode. So because of putting it in protection mode, we will see that the room temperature will of course drop, which is quite normal because the window is open. So it will go, the temperature will actually eventually drop to 0 degree normally. So just wait a bit. So it's now 19. Just wait a bit more, 18. Let's say I wait until 16, and then I close the window again. So 16, I close it again. And then indeed the valve, the heating valve is opened, just to make sure that the set point temperature is reached again. Okay, so if I open it again, open the window, then the RTC will stop with this. And now and that's then the last part of the webinar. Actually, now I'm going to just let the temperature in the room drop until 0 degrees. Actually, that is actually what I try to do now. But we will see that there will be a reaction of the RTC. There will be some action that will make sure that the room temperature will not reach 0 degree. As I said, because of protecting the building indeed against damage because of frozen water. So I'll just need to wait a little bit longer to talk you through this process. So it's already 9, and then it will drop to 8, 7 soon, any moment, yeah, 6, and then we will see that indeed, despite the fact that the room is the window is open, the RTC sends a command to the HVAC activator in order to open the heating valve. Again, because of the sake of protecting the the building. So if I then close the window again, everything is fine. Then the RTC starts working in the regular way again. So according to the HVAC, in order to the HVAC modes, comfort or standby.